there, welcome to Motorcycles and Misfits, coming to you from the Recycle Garage in sunny Santa Cruz, California. Hey everyone, toot toot, this is Liza.
No shit.
And I'm back.
You are indeed. Back from Wendover.
You can say the choo-choo-choo cha-ching, I think.
Cha-ching. Yeah. So we got some stories to tell,
Yeah,
but
sure
let's
you
get
do.
who's here with me in the studio. Making all the noise you already know. Spoiler alert, it's Miss Emma.
Hello, darlings. It's thrilling. I tells you, thrillings to be here.
I tell ya, see?
I'm telling you, she.
Going around the room, looking dapper in his Motorcycles and Misfits t-shirt, it's Neil.
Hey there, party people. I'm sorry, my voice is like trash. I'm going to call Neil Rocket Man. He's our high altitude guy these days.
I am.
It's like you take the shot and just...
I just blow it. and you know what? We all benefit because we have a laugh. So,
but I love it that you take the shot.
Right there.
I love it that you take the shot.
I miss Neil, what's the spiel? I thought that should be a regular
what's the
segment.
spiel? Well, and
You're
now who's
clever.
going to show Neil how to do it? It's Naked Jim.
What? I could say ding dongs, wig wags.
Should we call you Peepaw Jim?
Peepaw Jim or Lucky Jim as of late. Not sure what that moniker
I'm just
means
curious now that
exactly.
you're a grandfather, is the whole naked... No, you got a hot tub. No, you're still naked.
Yeah,
Jim.
we just put it in the
You
hot
just got
tub.
a hot tub.
No, it's caviar and
Wow.
limos. That's how we roll here. Cheers.
Exactly. Joining us from sunny Velveeta, it is a Bagel.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Glad to be here.
So how's the cheese in Southern Oregon there, Bagel? Is is the weather on the brink yet, or is it still high summer?
It's warm. It's warm and a little sweaty, you know.
Yeah.
Not too hot, but you know, on the
Little
warmer side
moist
of
around the
comfortable.
gusset, perhaps?
A bit.
Yes.
A bit during the peak of the day, yes.
Okay, very good. Carry on.
And stunt misfit for the first time in studio, it's Wendy.
For the very first time. Also, I might add, looking very dapper in the same motorcycle.
We are brand coherent.
Yes. Neil and I worked this out this morning.
A popular choice.
The rest of y'all didn't get the memo.
Did not get the memo. So, got a bunch of things to go through. real
There are
quick.
many things.
Announcements.
Yes.
I wanted to quickly just cover Emma. You a couple weeks ago had announced a contest for Jason. Where
Yes.
are we at with that?
So, for everybody to recap, we received a very, very touching letter from a long-time listener whose son was killed on a motorcycle. And, you know, whenever something like that happens, you always, you're searching for closure and you're always searching for it to mean something. And sometimes it simply doesn't. And there's no real sense to make of it. So what I decided to do, really to honor this young man and honor his father, we announced the Jason Awards. And the Jason Award is going to be given out for people who have overcome a great hurdle to ride a motorcycle or have overcome a great personal hurdle by riding motorcycles and have really achieved a great deal. We have a couple of submissions. I'm kind of tempted to read more than just a couple of.
And just to understand what qualifies, like if I wrote in about overcoming hearing you sing today during the karaoke session.
I mean, that was
Does that
monumental.
qualify?
Well, I mean, you know, it was traumatic. For everyone, though.
Some of the karaoke, and I'm pointing the finger at Liza, sounded like that air pump that failed on Wendy's bike when we were pumping up today. It was chugging along, and then all of a sudden...
chugging along is not necessarily a description you want when you're doing karaoke.
Compared to the next sound it made, absolutely.
Yes. But yeah, as traumatic as listening to me singing karaoke is, it wouldn't really qualify in this case. And, you know, we've had some genuinely moving emails. What I'm going to do is I'm going to gather up at about 5 or 6, and this is going to be an ongoing thing. I'm feeling kind of the end of September, maybe even the end of October, we'll see what we've got, because I really want this to be meaningful. And this could be something we do every year, because there's a lot of people out there. We take motorcycling for granted, and we take the community we have for granted, and not everybody has that luxury. A lot of people have to overcome great physical hurdles to ride a bike. They have to overcome great mental hurdles to ride a bike, or have that in their own lives and have gotten redemption, as it were, from swinging a leg over a bike. And these are the people I'm looking for.
Just again to check, would it qualify that I had to see you change your pants in the middle of the parking lot?
Will you stop trivializing this, Liza?
Okay,
I mean, honestly, I really want you to take this a little more seriously. You have seen my ass on a number of occasions, so don't give me that nonsense that you were traumatized this time. Yes, it has a new tattoo, but it's cute, right, Wendy?
I loved every moment of seeing it. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, I heard
Her ass, the tattoo, both.
Is this a new tattoo since last time?
No, I mean, it's the same one. So
Yeah,
I
okay.
went for a massage last night at one of the local, just get your elbow in there. And when she pulled the towel back to do my upper leg, I heard her chuckling when she saw Felix looking back at her. I heard her trying to stifle a laugh. So
back to your point.
Yes.
Because is just, I'm imagining how many different possibilities how this could look, right? Tons of different ways, but a lot of us have things that we keep on the inside that no one ever sees. And motorcycling can be an empowering thing to like hop on a bike, throw a leg over it, do whatever it is you're going to do on your motorcycle to help you, I don't know, overcome, cope, whatever it might be, what people maybe not necessarily see on the outside.
Right, exactly. And what I'm asking people is, we are the least judgy people you could possibly come across, except for Liza, of course. But
I'm judging you right now.
I know. Get out of my head. But bare your soul. I mean, we're honoring a young man who lost his life doing what he loved. And I really want this award to mean something, not just to the person who receives it, but to the family of Jason.
Yeah.
That we're honoring his memory.
Yeah.
Because we didn't know Jason, but we did.
And
because we knew Jason.
Yeah.
If Jason was still with us and came down the garage, we'd instantly know him. We would instantly know what this young man who loved Moto Guzzi's is like.
And I think one benefit also of sharing these stories is if you are struggling, you're not alone.
Oh, good Lord.
A lot of people struggle with things, so you're not alone. You can overcome it,
That's number one. And a lot of people who've overcome mental health problems or physical health problems, myself included, the biggest hurdle you have to overcome is I'm not the only one. There are others like me. And once you understand that and you're kind of in the fight together, it really is. They always say a problem shared is a problem halved, and it's not entirely true. But knowing you're not alone that's that. So
Perfect.
there's an update. The emails are coming in. I'm absolutely thrilled. Please keep sending us submissions in.
Yeah.
You can send them in for somebody else. However, please make sure that person knows that you are submitting them. Don't just do it out of kindness, because you might think it's kind, the other person might not want their story shared on air. But you are very, very welcome to submit it on behalf of somebody else. So
Thank you,
please
Emma.
keep them coming in.
Send us your stories of overcoming to motorcyclesandmisfits@gmail.com.
And mark it Jason,
There you go.
so we know what category to put it in. Thank you.
Next up, I have some big news.
Big news.
I sold the Harley.
I know. I was going to
congratulations.
congratulate you today.
Sold the Harley. No, we were asking who is the market for an older touring bike with kind of high miles but runs good. Bought it was a nice young gentleman who had started a family and has a kid who had to sell his knuckleheads when he had a family, and now he's like making a comeback and didn't have a lot of money to buy a bike, but wanted something that was a little bit nicer than the knuckleheads and that he could put his kid on the back and take for rides.
Yeah, well, it's
Cool.
the perfect bike.
That's a perfect
Awesome.
bike for him. So I was quite happy
You
about
found a
that.
good home. That's a good feeling when you sell something,
Right.
and you know the person's going to be happy with it.
And you got a decent amount for it, which is
I
nice.
broke
So
even. I absolutely broke even.
yeah, so there you are.
And so I'm just happy that I got a bike back on the road and I went to somebody who's going to really appreciate and use it. And I
Nice.
didn't lose money.
And the NX is going next week, I am told.
Yeah, the NX is going to go live in a Baja adventure. And we did a little shakedown on it this weekend at Metcalf Motorbike Park. And
Did you ride it, Wendy?
Yeah, everybody wrote it.
I mean, what were you? I mean, that was everything that Honda knew about dirty bikes in 1986. What were your thoughts on it?
It was quite adequate. It had questionable suspension for the job.
Yes.
Questionable brakes.
Yes.
It went through the weekend with no complaints. It is quite adequate for the job.
That's Honda.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Adequate for the job.
That's Honda.
We gave it a very, very good shakedown send-off before it lives out its life in
not
Baja.
an issue.
You
Not
know
an
what?
issue.
It is such a shame, Jim, that you don't still have the rally raid. Because
Oh.
I would love to do a back-to-back with the
Oh,
NX and the
interesting.
rally
Wow.
raid and see how far or how little lightweight trail bike design has changed in 40 years.
Interesting.
Oh.
So that was the 250L rally raid. So
Yes.
it would be curious, yeah, because they're similarly underpowered.
I don't know if the NX could be considered lightweight, but
Well, I think actually, out of the two, I think the NX probably would have the edge on power because it's carrying
Yeah,
no
yeah.
emissions equipment
Mhm.
whatsoever.
Oh, I could
Oh,
get that
that's
thing up
fair.
to 70, no problem.
But
Yeah.
it's definitely a bit porkier.
Well, the 250
Done,
had a good top speed, but I think it only made like 24 horsepower.
Whereas
something
I
like
think
that.
the NX is might be closer to 30,
Yeah.
but it's a lot heavier. So,
You know, I have to say, I've had a lot of fun with it, and I started thinking, oh, maybe I'll keep it. No, it's going to go live a better life.
and then
It's
what?
okay.
Because right now, the KZ400 is gone, the Harley Davidson is gone, the NX
But no,
is
they're
gone.
no. The thing is, there's a lot of bikes I want, but I have to sell things, and now is not the time to sell, so I'm just waiting.
Well, just remember, and I'll do this on the air, you have a solid offer from
No, you did not give me a solid
Moto
offer.
Town of
You gave me a Swiss
$6,000.
cheese offer.
$6,000 cash for the
Now, I want
for
you to
the
go look up
trikey.
Niken for sale in the USA right now,
It's a
and then tell me that that was a solid offer.
it's a trikey. I haven't had a trikey since I was a toddler. I loved my trikey.
Yeah. So, in the next news, we got a package.
A package.
This one is good.
Does it
I'm
have
gonna say
white
I'm the
powder
one who's
in
most
it?
excited.
From
Hey.
Neil's got to have it in Laughlin in
Our
5
friend,
hours.
our friend Britt Anderson sent this. Look.
Ooh, Montecompo!
The way to Liza's heart.
Oh, the guy right here. This is a Hot Wheels new for 2025 Honda Motocompo, not the Moto Compacto. This is the original Moto
Yeah.
Compo.
Cool.
Sweet.
Hot Wheel. Isn't
Now,
that cool?
I'm going to tell you a story about these.
Did it also come in white? That's red.
Yes, I think it does come in white. These bikes, because I worked for Honda when these things came out in 91. I think it was 90 or 91. They never actually sold them.
No, it came with the car.
Nope.
They came in the trunk of a high-end.
Honda
It's called the
City, right?
City.
Like a
The
K
city.
car. or
No,
something.
No,
it's called the
in
City.
England it was the big cars. It was the big Honda, the Sterling,
really?
the Sterling Coupe.
Sterling. I thought it was the City.
No, in England it was the
Was it in the boot?
yeah
Yeah.
it was in the boot. Anyway, so there's that.
Not the Frank.
The frunk.
Yeah, so isn't that cool?
Oh, there's a letter.
Ooh.
There isn't any money,
She's looking for
unfortunately.
money or
I'm
chocolate.
looking for.
I opened the envelope, so any money was removed before it got into the studio.
Fantastic. May I read the letter?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Hello, Liza, Emma, and the Misfits. So we're named, and the rest of you. Just wanted to send along this mini motor combo
So we got the
for the
Professor
room
and Marianne treatment here.
and let you know how much I appreciate the show. Don't worry, Liza, I won't tell Bagel you want another Vespa. Ooh. I am still a loyal listener and look forward to my new shirt every year. I do miss not getting down there to the garage or a dirt bag rally once a year since we moved away about 8 years ago. We live in San Ramon.
Yeah.
Oh, I know San Ramon. I did get to ride Highway 18 when I came to visit, so I appreciate all the crazy stories you guys have been sharing about that road. Brings back some wild memories. While I haven't...
Did you say Highway 18?
Yes.
18. What's
Yeah.
Highway 18?
Where's that?
I think
it
it's
must be
17.
between 17.
I think Highway 17.
Yes. So anyway,
Ah.
while I haven't been able to break away for one of the awesome tours or trip to VMD, I don't think that they aren't always on the radar. So tra-la-la. I'm actually not riding much these days, although I still have a few bikes and get out every once in a while.
Good.
Looking to move my wife's 750 Shadow and get her a smaller bike to tool around and take out into the woods. Sucks that the market is so bad for cruisers, but can't say I don't get it.
Ooh, I know the perfect bike.
750 Shadow is a great bike.
Yeah.
No, not to take into the woods. Perfect bike, Hunter Cub.
There you go.
Mm.
I think I remember you guys talking about candles the other day, and I can't believe that no one said a candle should smell like beans or burnt beans, or someone just gave it the beans. Anyway, stay safe and keep up the great work. Fuck knock. And this is from Britt Anderson,
Hey, thanks.
currently owning 1981 CX500, 2011 V-Strom 650, kitted for adventure travel, 2003 750 Shadow, which belongs to his wife. We already established that. And a 2019 XT250. Wonderful bikes all. Thanks, Brett.
I just want to point out that we came home from a day of adventures and found this in the mail, and Liza was so excited to find the little Moto Compo in the mail.
Absolutely.
After we had just come home from the BMW shop with its virtual identical twin of a box baby scooter,
Yes.
that Liza was like having an existential crisis in the middle of, she's like, I don't understand this.
Is that that electric scooter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't know why this is. And then you look at,
No.
they're like, they're twins. They're virtual
It's not
twins.
the scooter, it's the electric mini bike. It's like a
okay.
Grom.
It is a
Oh, I haven't
Moto
seen
Compo
I
with a
can't process-
BMW.
I
Oh,
can't
how
process
interesting.
it. I cannot
It's
process it.
this is the big long thing that
Yes.
looks like those things are everywhere in Munich, and they go like the clappers. Now look, I have an important question about this. Are you going to keep it in the blister pack?
Yes, of course.
Do you not have one?
I don't have one.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there you are then.
Yeah.
In the package new.
In the
It can go and live with the others then.
continuing in the announcements. So, the reason we ran an old show last week. Hope you loved the Debbie Evans episode. That was one of my favorites, so that's why I
Yes.
had that queued up. But Jim and I were at Bonneville,
Yeah.
and in fact,
Cool.
next weekend will be the Bonneville episode.
Mm-hmm.
But wow, we had a great time. We met
Tell us all
great
about
people.
it. Hey.
I played the slots, and I had the shine.
On the choo-choo-choo-cha-ching.
As I
wait,
do,
wait.
you know,
Whoa,
as
whoa,
I
whoa.
do.
You played the slots, or you were playing around with sluts?
Yeah, it works out the same.
Yeah, okay.
So, make sure you listen next week for the Bonneville experience. There were a lot of records set, but it was really,
I hear the sand wasn't optimal this year, but
no, because
they
it's
did
not
it.
sand. So,
Well, no, the salt. I mean, it wasn't.
no, I doubt they'll be racing in 10 years. The salt's all being taken away.
Oh no.
But Jim, just the more and more I reflect on it, once you get over the fact that you're in Wendover or on the salt and it's hot and once you process that as Alan says, after you get over the misery, then you just start to realize it's all about community, and it was all about the people there.
Yeah, we talk about that a lot. And most motorcycle events we go to, we talk about community and how cool it is, whether it's the One or Vintage Motorcycle Days. This I thought was unique in the sense that these are like, for the most part, pretty cool people, right? You're surrounded by people that have, well, like we are now with Wendy Crockett, world record holders. And people that are going to set new world records. Not only the people, but the people that build the machines.
Yes.
It's a community.
The crew, the
It's a
mechanics.
community, right? And I'm like, everybody here is so much cooler than I am, right? Just either they ride faster, they engineer incredible things, or whatever it might be, 3 generations. But no matter how cool the people were, like 3rd generation family, they welcomed you in with open arms.
Oh, yeah.
Like everybody was so cool.
Now, who was this a Southern California Time Trial Association?
No, this is Bonneville. It used to be Bub.
Okay.
It's now the Bonneville Motorcycle Speed Trial.
Oh, so it's the speed trial people, because I know this, I can't remember the acronym, but the Southern California people go out there all the time. But
this is a
SCT.
Well, you're right. There's a couple of different acronym groups that are out there because you hear one and then the other kind of thing. So anyway.
Right.
But really wonderful. I mean, it was really about the people that we met.
Yeah. And it ran the gamut, everything from families that have been doing it forever and building their own machines to like one lonely dude in like an SUV and a U-Haul trailer and his Triumph. It looked like an America or something.
Oh, yeah. I think
no pop-up or nothing, right?
Well,
just by himself.
Wrong what you brung.
Yeah, not even a pop-up to stand under, and you have him next to people with these, Bub 7 type streamliners that have massive trailers and carpets and couches on rollers.
And not to mention, next week you'll hear the interview with James, whose bike we delivered. He's 86 years old.
Right.
But then also, like, I remember seeing it was a Z125, a little mini bike with a kid on it, with the long hair flowing. Oh, check out that girl on a bike. And then I saw her, and I was like, hey, good run. And she took her helmet off. I realized it was a boy with a really long mullet.
Yeah.
It must have been like 11 or 12 who's out there setting records. And you're like, this is multi-generational.
So he was very much party out the back.
But here's the
back.
thing. These records you're setting have nothing to do with your age or your gender. That's not any of the qualifications. And you get everyone out there from kids to what do you call octogenarians?
Veteran racers.
I mean, which is amazing. And they're all just out there racing.
Yeah.
And that was really cool. And everyone's sharing information, sharing parts. There was one of the women who needed a part for a bike, and everyone's like going around the different camps, and everyone helps each other. And they're saying, hey, what was it like? Well, you want to stay to the left at mile marker 2 because on the right side there's a dip or da-da-da-da. Everyone is out there helping each other and sharing information. It was truly incredible.
And it reminded me in a sense, because you have Speed Week, which is the cars and motorcycles, which I think I'm not like a super car guy, but I think seeing the cars would be a pretty cool weekend, but much more people, much better attended, right? So a lot more people, probably harder access. The motorcycle Speed Week that we were at the start of was so chill. It's like going to an ARMA race at Laguna Seca.
Yeah.
You could literally walk in, because we saw people, you could literally walk into pits for the most part, talk to people. So accessible. I mean, the racing is kind of like, oh, there goes a bike. But the whole rest of the scene was
How many people would you say there? A couple of thousand?
120.
So there was 120 or 10 racers, which is light, right? And I would say for every racer, if I had to average it out, I'd say there's 2.5 crew members.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some had a 3-person crew, some were by themselves. So I don't know, 200-300 people at most at one, maybe 300 people at one time.
Okay. But that's the racers. And then, people observing, spectators.
Well, as someone mentioned to us, it's not a great spectator sport unless you're fascinated by engineering, right? It could be making an electric motorbike go faster. It could be a 50cc streamliner. It could be a 3000cc.
It's not a spectator sport, but if you go out there, you might end up making breakfast for people or like running tires over, or like.
I did make breakfast for 4 of the fastest women on the planet. I'm very happy with that. It's one of my top achievements.
Yeah. So, I mean, you just kind of get, come on in and help us do this or do that.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
really
think
cool.
if you are new to it, start out with Car Week because it's going to be more of an event.
Mm-hmm.
But see if you can beg, steal, or borrow a camper.
Well, and
That's good. That'd be the way to do it.
By saying it's not a spectator sport means there's no accommodations
Right.
for spectators. If you show up and you don't know anyone, there's nowhere for you to sit or go, right?
Right. There's no
But-
grandstands.
There's no grandstands, right? But
Like assault.
if you're the type of person who wants to go and offer up help or, hey, do you need anything? Or even just going up to the registration and saying, can I volunteer?
I was
They
going
will
to mention
put
that.
you in a position to help out.
Or reach out to them beforehand. And
Oh,
'cause there are-
absolutely.
Yeah, because there are
Everyone-
ways to get involved. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
everyone
a
can
great
help.
way to get involved. And as a volunteer, you'll meet everyone more or less. It's interesting. I think we talk about in one of the interviews, but one of the longstanding families, the son, who's I'm guessing in his 40s now, spent like 10 years at the main gate, quote, which means at the end of the asphalt road before it turns into the salt flat, but volunteering, manning the gate. But the cool thing about it is you get tapped in quickly. You get to meet a bunch of people. So volunteering is a great way if you don't know anybody and you want to just be there.
It's not for spectators, but
Wow.
it's for participants, and there's a lot of room for people to participate in some way.
That's a good point.
Well,
Be
Yeah.
part of it.
I am looking forward to that show next week.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
and the fine town of Wendover, which has its gems, I will say.
So yeah, I picked up James's bike from San Jose BMW and then headed up
Right.
to Winnemucca to meet Jim, who was somewhat relieved to now be able to put his bike on a trailer and hop in a air-conditioned car because he'd had quite the trip prior to me picking him up.
Oh yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, that's a long way.
Oh, yeah. He was
Well, yeah.
you want to share the story?
I won't talk too much about it because we talk enough, but adventure bike riding, we talk about it every now and then.
Well, it's adventure, right?
it's adventuring, and
Buy a T7, they said.
Buy a
You'll
T7.
like it,
I
they
sent you a
said.
picture. Go adventure riding. So I loaded up the Tenere, the T7, with lightweight camping gear for about like 4 or 5 nights up in the Sierras. So my plan was to load up the Tenere, and someone asked me today. I used that giant big loop U-shaped thing is what I use for my luggage for the most part.
Saddlebag.
The giant
Kind
one,
of
though,
thing.
whatever that thing's called. And it does a pretty good job keeping the weight down low, and you can pack a bunch of crap in it. So I headed out to an area that a lot of mountain bike people will know, Downeyville, Sierraville, Sierra City. Yeah, Neil knows, all that stuff, which is a beautiful high lakes basin between 5,000 and 6,000 feet. Had never explored it before. And I'm like, looks great. So I'm doing a little recon on it. I'm like checking my Gaia. It's back in there, but there's a campground because I'm like, I kind of want to be at a campground. I get a little weirded out by bears, even though people are like, don't worry about the bears.
Do you have a bear can?
I got a bear spray thing. But otherwise I wasn't really carrying any food with me. I wasn't, I've done it enough. I don't worry too much, but anyway, so I had a campground, went up Saturday, and this is at a place called Jackson Meadows Reservoir. And if you're a BDR rider, the Northern California BDR route touches on this area. And big thumbs up for the scenery. So I get up to this reservoir Saturday, I don't know, before dinner time. It was a lovely ride up, good pavement the whole way, and a beautiful reservoir, kind of picture perfect, but a packed campground. So that's one thing about campgrounds is other people go there too. And this was close enough that it was near Nevada that it was kind of busy. Anyway, I'll skip the campground stuff. Dispersed camping's better. I'll just say that. Next day, I had a wonderful ride all around that area. So it's a lot of maintained fire roads, some really rocky fire roads with baby head stuff, but nothing too bad. I think if I was loaded down, it'd be a little effort. But I went down to a place called Bowman Lake. Again, postcard, beautiful. Get back up, and it was the second day, and I get back to the camp. I'm like reflecting on my wonderful day. It's about 4:30, and about half an hour away, there was a Mexican place. So I'm like, cool, I'll go get some Mexican food, and then bed down for the night. It was perfect. And as I'm riding out, all of a sudden, you get that little wallow on your back wheel. And that's not supposed to feel like that. And you're hoping it's anything but a flat tire. And you get off and have a flat tire. And I'm like, bummer. But I'm like, okay, not so bad. I like the Motos or Motos tires because they're pretty stiff and you can ride them for a while. So I'm like, okay, I'll just ride it back to my campsite and then just evaluate. As I'm going back, I remember there was no cell service for like 30 miles, like a good 45 minute. I got to go back to Truckee for cell service. So I'm like, okay, not the end of the world, but it does, it affects the math a little bit.
But you've planned for this. You have tools and tubes and anything you need.
I did. So I carried everything. I actually brought stuff for show and tell, but I showed you guys earlier. But yeah, so I had everything I needed. So I got back and I just took a minute and I took a breath and I'm like, all right, my options are I'll find a ride into town for like an hour and campground's starting to empty out, or change the tire. I'm like, I've done it before. I'll just do the tire. So no big deal. So take a breath, channel my inner Misfits. Everybody has their place, Emma was just like a cosmic connection. And then use your knees.
There you go.
So, interesting it's something about the T7, no center stand. And people are like, oh, just use a log or just use a rock. It sounds good until you actually have to do that.
Right.
And look for a log that actually will work and that kind of stuff. So I had bought this little contraption. Hang on.
And I was looking at this and it looks hokey, but it works, doesn't it?
Basically, it's a metal tube.
It's made out of aluminium.
Yes, that slides up and down. And it's basically a stick with a little saddle at the top. And the concept is you apply the front brake with a whatever you've got, Velcro strap.
And they give you a Velcro strap with this kit.
They do. And you apply it to the front brake. And at that point, you can tilt the bike up. Use this little stick. I can't remember what the name of it's called.
It's called a sticky thing.
It's called a sticky thing. And then put it underneath. I ended up doing I think some engine protection, like an engine guard. And it holds the bike up like a tripod. And I'm like, holy shit, it worked. Not at first, though. It slid a little bit the first time. So I'll get to that point in a second. So it worked. I'm like, all right, I got this. So get the wheel off, everything else. One thing I was worried about if it fell off the stick. And everybody's like, it's not too hard to get a tire back on when the bike's laying on its side. But the idea of that just scared the shit out of me.
Right.
Because those rear wheels get kind of heavy fast and bushings are falling out and you got to get the brake caliper in. But again, I would say just do it sometime. So anyway, feeling good, get the wheel off, think about everything, take out all my tools. And I was funny. I found out what my favorite tools were. Mm-hmm. This was number one.
Oh, yeah, the old bent tire iron one.
So it's a Motion Pro massive lever.
Yep.
And this is my kit. It's an old inner tube is my kit.
Yeah, I got one of those.
So I've got like 6 different tire irons. I've got these ones. I've got 2 of those.
These are bougie.
So what I ended up using, what worked for me the best were the Motion Pro, the big Motion Pro lever, and then the Motion Pro,
the bead breaker.
Bead breaker, thank you very much. For a couple of reasons, but for whatever reason, they worked the best for me getting the tire off. Anyway, so it wasn't too bad getting the tire off, got the tube out, got the new tube in. The next section I call blood on the rotor, was getting the tire back on the rim.
Blood on the rotor.
And kind of here's one of the lessons. I'm sorry I belabored the point, but you get tired and you get hungry. I hadn't eaten since breakfast and I was going out for Mexican food when this happened. Now I'm 2.5 hours into a tire change because I don't practice it. That's the take-home lesson. And I'm stuck. I got almost all the way back on except that last little bit. And I'm like, I'm missing something.
Ooh, right.
And I'm like, what is
Mexican food?
Yeah, exactly. Right. But I'm like, I've got the tire and the wheel well in the back. I'm like, it should pop on, but it's just hard. And by this time, the spoons are smashing on my knuckles.
Oh,
I'm
he
like,
had bloody knuckles.
I'm entertainment for the campground because everybody's like, hey, making little jokes and shit as they walk by and, fucking levers are flying everywhere. So anyway, I get to the point where I'm broken. I'm like, I'm trying to stay positive. That's the other thing is stay positive. But I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, but it's not working.
Was I in your head, Jim, at this point?
No. Well, I take that back. You were, because there's a job to do and a mission to finish. So
yeah,
I wasn't giving up.
It's always the mission.
But I did realize that I'm no longer functioning properly. It started getting dark. So as soon as the headlamp went on, I collected my tools, collected all the parts and just put them aside and went to sleep, or tried to. And in the middle of the night, I realized what I was doing wrong. I had the back of the wheel in the well, but it was the bottom, not the top.
Oh, okay.
So I'm
the middle of the night epiphany.
I know, but it was because I was so exhausted and tired.
Right, exactly.
So in the morning I woke up, did some exercises, had a sip of coffee, stayed positive, poured a little bit of hot water on the tire because it was cold, just to see if that would help, and then used the bead breakers to lever the tire back into the well on the top, and it popped right in. Like 10 seconds, I was done after fighting it for like half an hour.
Yeah.
But in your defense, Jim, one of the saddest ironies about adventure biking is one of the traits of adventure tires that make them so desirable for riding, the stiffness, makes them very hard for changing.
Yes.
And that's the trade-off.
Yeah.
That's the trade-off. You know, the Metas tires, the Heidenau's, these are like working with concrete, and it's the stiffness that makes them a good tire. But it also, and especially when the temperature goes down, you know, warmth makes a huge difference.
Right.
When I'm fitting stiff tires, if it's a sunny day, I'll schedule all my tire changes schedule all my tire changes for the afternoon. I'll just leave the tires on the roof of the truck all morning to get them nice and warm, and they get all nice and soft and floppy.
Yeah. So adventure bike riding, you know, it's like 55 degrees when you wake up, and you're like, I can't wait till 1 o'clock. But yeah, I agree. All right, I'll wrap up this board. So anyway, after the night at the blood on the rotor day, get it back on. I'm like, right on. Got it back on. I'm like, okay, now it's pump it up. So use a CO2 cartridge, because I don't use a lot of this stuff often, like a CO2 cartridge. So you never know if this shit's going to actually work, right? So I did the CO2 thing. It's working like a boss, like tubes filling up. And then all of a sudden,
oh no.
It wasn't crushing. I kind of wasn't surprised. I'm like, because I was just, you know, beating on the rim so hard to get the thing, and then I'm not surprised I punctured it. Anyway, long story short, I'm like,
oh no, keep going.
Yeah.
It's still a lot. Yeah. Keep
I'm
going.
still there with the bike on a little metal stick in the middle of like the woods with no cell service, and the campground's emptying out. So I'm like, all right, I'm not going to take the tire back off, take the tube back out, because the first tube I had was destroyed. A nail had gone in, like a gnarly old nail, but it had wallowed around in there for a minute.
So it just torn the tube.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
And I'm like, I just can't emotionally do this again. And my hands were just like literally blood coming out of my fingernails. And so I'm like, get the wheel back on without knocking the motorcycle over. That's the next big thing. So that actually went pretty quickly. I got the rear wheel back on pretty quick. And I'm like, all right, at least I have a rolling motorcycle. Now I just got to figure out, like, basically at this point, I'm like, I'm getting towed out. I'm like, I just can't go through all that again. So long story short again, this really nice guy pulls up in a truck and he goes, oh, that was you with the tire last night? I'm like, yeah. He goes, oh, I wish I had known. He goes, yeah, I used to race motocross. I have 3 kids that race motocross. I'm like, oh, it'd been cool to see you last night, and be like, no, do this, not that. But lesson learned on my part. So he gave me a ride into Truckee, like just super cool dude. I tried to throw a bunch of money in his hand. He's like, no, dude, no problem. Fishing sucked today anyway. And I had to get a tow truck. So I ended up getting a tow truck. It didn't take, anyway, I had to get a tow truck, go back and have the bike towed into town, which is a lot better than sitting there with the bike, not working.
In an empty campsite.
That empty campsite, waiting for the rangers to come by and like see if they're any help. So
at least you've got access to food now and coffee.
Yes. So I did end up in Truckee, dirt bike shop there, hour and a half later, $77. I'm back on the road. So it was incredibly emotional, like 12 hours or something like that. But I was bummed I tried to make the repair and it didn't work. I was bummed about that, but I felt good that I tried. I did the best I could. And it's those times where you just got to stay upbeat and optimistic, right? But the other message I really learned is, if you're going to do adventure bike stuff, like,
you need to be prepared.
I kind of thought, I knew what I was doing for the most part. I do this kind of stuff a lot. But it does make a big difference when there's no cell service and you're by yourself. So just something to be aware of, and practice the stuff that you're going to do out on the trail. The whole time I'm like, every week I should change a dirt bike tire. Every week I should change a dirt bike tire.
There is a reason.
So that's where I
right. There is a reason why when we do the Misfits rally, I always do tire changing. There's a reason for that. Aside from a rod poking out through the front of your engine, the only other thing that will really stop you dead is tires. And if you know tires and you're comfortable with tires, you've really stacked the odds in your favor, and you've dealt yourself a very, very good hand. So any time that I'm able to do a tire 101 down here or at the rally or help people out, because, I've got this beautiful, hydraulic pneumatic tire machine. I've got the balancer. I've got everything. but you need to know how to run the irons.
You do. And
You've got to know how to run the irons.
yeah, and do this shit at home a lot, right? And there's nice tools available now, like the no pinch Baja tool. Like, I'm like, boy, that probably would have made life easier if I was good at it.
Should borrow it on the next trip.
Yeah, and again, practice, and also like little things. Not that I'm giving advice, but make sure you have every single tool you need,
Right?
and that's why, like, do it at home. Try doing a rear tire at home, because you may have to do it if you're going to be doing this kind
And
of right.
just a top tip:
Ooh, a top tip.
if you have tubes in your wheel, fixer flat will not work.
Mhm.
Slime will not work.
Yeah.
Anything that you use to temporarily fix a tubeless tire will not work.
Mhm.
It will create a huge mess.
Oh, God.
Your mechanic will hate you.
Yes, exactly. So if your bike has tubes, which is basically 90%
Mhm.
of bikes with spoke wheels, the exception being some KTMs with the diaphragm and
The
Super
BMW.
10s and blah, blah, blah. And unfortunately, 10.7s have tubes.
Mhm.
The early Africa Twins have tubes.
Well, yeah.
Don't think the last thing I'd ever want someone to think is they've got a little tube of slime and a couple of CO2 cartridges and they're going to be good, because you ain't. All you're going to do is make a sticky, slimy mess.
Cover your
So
whole rear wheel with
You
it.
got the right tools, Jim. I mean, between those Motion Pro, the bead breaker tools, and those curved tire irons,
Mhm.
Emma or I could do that off the bike tube change in like
Right.
under 10 minutes.
I'm
But
sure
it's
you-
a matter of practice, because
It's
we've done
totally-
hundreds of them, and it's
Mhm.
just
And
Yeah.
it's
super quick and
lube.
easy.
It's lube.
Oh,
You
yep.
should have drinking water, and you should have, rather than use hand sanitizer, have a little bit of soap with you.
Mm.
I
You can
did
wash
have
your
that,
hands,
and my God.
And it's Dawn's a perfect lubricant. The reason I like Dawn, there's no salt in it,
Mhm.
so it's not corrosive on aluminium rims.
They need to be hot. They need to be wet.
Yeah.
Like
That's
me.
the takeaway.
And stinky.
Tra-la-la.
Well, and here's the yin to the yang on that story. Here's the yin to the flat tire is, and it kind of plays into what we always say is just say yes. So aside from the flat tire, I don't want to ramble on about the beauty up there, but beautiful lakes, fishing, amazing. But I met really cool people the entire time. And all you have to do is say hello. I'll give you one quick example because a shout I want to give. So this is to a gentleman named Sebastian. So I was in Sierraville, which is like, I don't even think it has a stoplight. I think it's a flashing light, right? Mexican restaurant, a really good home cooking cafe, and I'm not sure what else. Anyway, and a coffee shop. So I had just popped up there to stop. This is before I had my issue. And he had like a scrambler type motorcycle, and his friend had a Harley. And of course you're out there. It was a Triumph. And you say hi. Oh, cool bike. Oh yeah. And he was Italian. His name's Sebastian. I'm like, you must live around here, looking at the bike. He goes, yeah, I live right down here. And we start chatting, right? Really lovely. And they were having coffee. And come to find out, he owns a little resort area there called Constellation Creek. So I got his information. He goes, yeah, come on out. There's a beautiful creek behind it. You have your own little kind of bungalow, all this kind of stuff. I'm like, well, that sounds great. And I was kind of ready to stop sleeping on the ground anyway. And this is before I had the flat tire issue. So got his info, ended up booking a room with him. So this was at the end of my after I got my tire fixed in Truckee, I rode up to Constellation Creek. And it was a lovely little refuge in the mountains. It's a beautiful little lodge to stay at. And I mention it because it's right on the BDR route. So if you're traveling the BDR through that area, Constellation Creek is right there. And Sebastian's a wonderful Italian guy, a British wife. I think she's Scottish, but and with some beautiful little units. So if you're tired of sleeping on the ground and you want a lovely place to stay, Constellation Creek.
I even like the name. It's got this sort of, this kind of galaxy and, outer spacey. And
they typically have artists in residence. There's a giant teepee, so you can get your wampum on, Emma.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's a fun little spot. But also along that area, on Highway 49, which is beautiful riding, there's lots of these little river resorts you can stay at as well. I stayed at one other one. I think it was Sierra Pines Resort, had a lovely restaurant, a river you could swim in down below. So anyway, Yeah, so I mucked about there, had a wonderful time, got to get my adventure. So adventure bike riding, have your shit together, God damn it. I'm talking to myself mostly.
Ooh, the last time I had a swimming costume on, swimsuit on, I was on the beach and some hippies came by and tried to push me back into the ocean. It was very distressing. Well, they thought they were doing good.
Well,
they all had Save the Whale shirts on, and, they
Splashing you
thought
with
they were
buckets of
doing
water.
good.
And so then I left the land of waterfalls and rivers and green sugar pines and met Liza in Winnemucca.
Party on!
Well, thank you for sharing that story. It actually ties in a little bit to what we're going to talk about next. And it's about something that Wendy and I got to do yesterday. We taught our first dirt bike class.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Cool. To both of you.
Yeah, well, we both got certified last year, and so you need to teach classes to keep your certification. So
I've been saying for many years you should be certified.
yes, it's true. So when
Possibly committed.
Wendy came down just to help out and teach class, and we only had one student.
I love how
sign up.
Wendy came down. She lives in South Dakota.
No, but she came from Canada.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so even further away.
Yeah, she rode down on Thursday from Canada.
She was in the area,
She was in the area.
like you do.
So we had only one student sign up. Very nice guy who showed up. And this was at Metcalf Park. And for Jim remembers, the last time we were ever at Metcalf, we left in frustration. Because Metcalf is a park where there's the trails in that then fork off different directions. It's all one-way roads. And we felt like we kept choosing different directions, but we kept ending up on the loop that took you back to the parking lot. And 3 times in a row, we ended up back in the parking lot and said, damn it, just loaded the bikes and went home.
Yeah, it couldn't have been our fault. It was the park. Yeah.
It's not that you picked the wrong trail. It's that you picked the trail that had the portal in it to transport you back to the parking lot.
I know.
What bike did you have back then? I had the DR350. What were you riding?
It might have been the XL175 or a DR350.
God, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
That you had
I-
the-
Was it the
no,
pink
it
pony?
might
Was
have
it a DRZ400, the pink pony? When it caught on fire?
No, that was, it wasn't the pink pony, but it was, it might have been the
yellow
DRZ400.
DRZ? Yeah.
But anyway, so very nice rangers there. This is a little bit different than Hollister. It's a much smaller park, and it's a county park, not a state park like Hollister. A lot less resources, but nonetheless, they do have a...
What is the county out there?
Santa Clara?
yeah.
It is Santa Clara.
I would think so.
Nonetheless, so they do have a big flat area that they just keep cones and 2x4s and stuff to train, kind of like what we did
Right.
the
The
Honda
Honda. Yeah.
Academy. Yeah. And so they've got a good place to do that. And the first day we went to meet Tim from MSF, who was our trainer to help us out, to get us up to speed. And
Was that the Tim that comes down here?
No.
Oh, another Tim.
no, I met him at AIM Expo at the MSF booth, and that's how I got connected with him. But we took the bikes. We took the NX 250 and the 690 Enduro out there, and we said, well, let's do these drills we're going to be asking this guy to do. And they're all pretty, this is the intro to dirt biking. It's
Very basic. Yes.
intro. This is getting familiar with the clutch, and then it goes into proper riding technique, sitting, standing, and that it's just very basic.
So this is designed for someone who maybe has never ridden a motorcycle before.
Exactly.
Okay.
But our student has, and so we were able to kind of quickly go through those, how to use the clutch. But I said, look, even though you know how to ride a bike, he's not terribly experienced. This is somebody who rode when he was younger, and now in his 50s is getting back into riding.
Okay.
And he bought a dirt bike, and he's been going out, but he kind of keeps having little crashes and wanted to find out what he's doing wrong.
What
Which
kind
is
of
great,
What
which
kind
is
of
great.
dirt bike did he have?
He has a KLX 300.
Okay.
So we were trying all these things out, and I was having a hard time on some of the things, I have to say. It was really worth it for us to get out there and practice.
We were looking at this range going, I think this is a little smaller than regulation, but He said it was okay. So we, after our MSF connection left, we're like, we're going to run through these exercises. And we're like, this is really hard. This is a lot harder than I remember.
Like trying to do the slalom because everything was tighter.
Come to find out, it was like 2/3 the size that it should have been. So we did.
That's a good starting point, though.
We did really good considering that we had shrunk the dimensions so considerably. But
yeah, and one of the things too, it's very dry right now. And Metcalf out in San Jose, we haven't had rain for months and
Muy
months.
seco.
And so it's that hard pack with the loose
Shit on top, yeah.
on top. And part of the training, which they have there, is it's a small hill, but you learn how to do like a U-turn on a hill and some basic stuff. And we were going up the hill and down. But one of the other exercises you do, it's called a K-turn. I don't know if you're familiar with this. We actually did practice this, Emma, because you talked about that. It's if you're going up a hill and you realize for whatever reason you're not going to make it all the way up and you stop.
That happened to me.
You're in the middle of a hill. What do? You're facing uphill.
I cried and some poo came out.
Typically start sliding backwards.
And so the instructions are to stop, get off the bike, turn the wheel hard, lean the bike into your hip, turn it parallel to the hill, and then you start wiggling the bars left, right, and the front end will just kind of shimmy downwards so that you can then remount the bike and slide down.
That nice man from Honda taught me that, and it worked.
So that's the process. So
No
I'm
more
like,
tears.
I'm going to try it. I hop on the annex and I just shoot up to the top of the hill. Wendy, how did it work out for me?
it worked better for me than it worked for you. I laughed so hard I almost pissed myself. Because I'm looking at this going, that it is really scrabbly. Like, it is scrabbly to walk on. She's like, just send it. Like, don't be a puss. Just go.
Classic Liza. Classic Liza.
She goes right to the top. And then
What
she's
could
going,
possibly go wrong?
Nope.
Go to the stop,
Sliding
put on the
back
brakes,
down
and
the
I
hill.
just start sliding backwards down the hill.
Thank God you're on the 250.
And my feet were out, and I'm just going, nope, and just like holding on and skiing backwards.
Oh,
I
God.
think I went about 20 feet. It was
There you go.
frightening.
Wow.
My entire body became a single.
So you
Rigid
couldn't
piece.
get your foot to the roof.
Is that how we're supposed to do it,
No, and
Coach?
that's the thing.
You became a kickstand.
The mistake that I made is once you get to the top, you're supposed to use both brakes, and then you're supposed to quickly turn the engine off and release the clutch so that it locks the
Yeah.
back wheel. I didn't do that. I get to the top and have the clutch in and put my feet down. Now, once you start sliding, I mean,
You're going.
you're going.
You're
You're
host.
Yeah.
going.
So I'm kind of lost here. So you get to the top,
Yeah.
you stall the bike, in effect.
No, the bike's running. I pull the clutch in
Oh, yeah.
and,
But you don't have
and
the
grab the
engine
But you
front
should have
brake.
stalled the
Right.
bike.
And I
It's just not enough
Yeah.
traction.
No. What I'm trying to ascertain is if you do things correctly,
yeah.
you're at the top of the hill,
Yeah.
your bike's in gear with the engine off,
Yeah.
and both brakes are applied.
Yeah.
Then what the hell do you do?
You get off the bike
Oh, and then turn it.
and then turn it. But what happened for me is when I took my foot off the brake,
It started sliding.
because I didn't kill the bike, it was still running. I just started sliding, and then it was game over.
It was all over. Because you had the momentum then.
Oh, God, I thought it was going to just crash.
Oh, it's the worst. I've had that happen on long, loose uphills out in the desert where you can't even turn the bike around, and in the middle of it, it turns into like a rut, and you just there's like it's like quicksand.
And there were
It's like
drag
quicksand.
marks down the hill
Yeah, you're just
from the
screwed. You
tires
just
and my
can't
feet.
get traction. Yeah.
Liza skid mark.
I'm sure this was like a 4% grade, but it seemed really harrowing at the time. Sitting
No, I-
there.
I know.
I
know.
have a question,
You need
Liza.
to
Is
try
it-
Carnegie.
With this K-turn, you're supposed to do it off of the bike, right?
Yeah.
Is it possible to do it on the bike and just wiggle the bars while you're standing on it with like your one foot
It's
on the uphill
possible,
side?
but you need to turn it parallel. You need to turn it 90 degrees parallel to.
Right. Because my thought is like if you're going up the hill, you could kind of turn into like parallel to the hill and then kind of like roll back to make yourself.
if you can turn
if you
parallel,
bring
then you
the-
can take the momentum to take you back down.
If you
Right.
bring the
Okay.
back end around, so if you're backing down, you kind of turn the handlebar to the left, so the bike goes to your left.
Right.
So
right.
that
right.
allows you to keep your foot on the rear brake and be still facing downhill.
The
Right.
purpose of
And
getting
I'm
off.
saying, don't even get off the bike at that point. Just
Yeah, the
hang on.
purpose of getting off the bike, if you're still pointing uphill, is so that if the bike goes, you're
Yeah.
not going with it.
You're not
that's
launching
right.
downhill.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
you
had to have
know,
like a really,
So
a really
you-
long downhill on the high side.
How long was this upgrade? Not the
Oh no, I slid 20 feet.
and how long was the remaining till the bottom?
Till I got to the flat.
Oh, you got
Because
all the way down.
I was gaining momentum.
You just
Oh,
follow the
no.
little poo pellets all the way down to the flat.
Oh shit!
Oh yeah.
So here's a snowballing.
yeah.
Oh my god!
So, but here's the thing, which I want to get into this conversation. When you're teaching with a program, whatever that program is, you're very much bound to just the way that it's instructed. And I found that as we were going through these things, that I had some issues with some of the way things were trained. And for instance, one of the first thing you do when you introduce the student to the bike and and to get them on the bike, the steps are standing next to the bike, reach over, grab the brake. Now you want to kick the kickstand up, and now you want to kick your leg over and mount the bike. Do you
Well,
have any problem with that?
I mean, I have a problem with introducing the student to the bike. I mean, is this a debutante's ball? You know, I mean, it's
thank
like
you. No, does anyone else have a problem with that process?
If you're kind of short-legged,
Or as a wonky person.
Yeah, if your hips
Yeah.
don't flex like they
Yeah.
used to.
I
The
have
kickstand, right?
I
That's it.
have to be honest with you, Liza. At the shop, if I have a taller bike, like a KTM or a
Mhm.
Husky, I do a lot of Huskies these days, don't ask me why. I do tend to put the kickstand up while I'm sitting alongside it and kind of pull the bike towards me and swing my leg over. Because when I'm actually astride the bike and I'm literally on the tiniest tip of my toes, sometimes the kickstart won't go up. And I have to kind of do peculiar things to the bike to get the kickstand to go up.
So here's the thing.
So it's not terrible.
Well, here's the thing, and I'm not throwing the program under the bus here.
Well, you shouldn't.
There's a reason why everything is like this, and
Right.
there's there's people who've done a lot of studies to understand. And the reason they said that you put the kickstand up first is because many people forget to put the kickstand up.
Did Tim
That it
do
could be
that?
more dangerous to ride away with the kickstand down.
Did Tim do that? Did Tim
So,
do that?
Lesson 1 is to introduce ourselves to the students and learn the student's name and motivation for being in the class. Lesson 2, Liza's like, I have an objection, Your Honor. So we asked him immediately before he got on the bike, and he's like, well, yeah, I do that sometimes. So I think he made a point of putting the kickstand up before mounting.
No, he was explaining
in response to the question, but
why it's written this way. To me, it's a bigger risk of a bike falling over on somebody, right?
a learner especially.
A learner especially. But the reason that it's written the way it is because the class is designed to keep you as the instructor from getting sued for doing something wrong. If you follow these exact, the curriculum, how it's written, this has already been approved and you will be protected legally.
No, I think
approved?
there's a little more to it than that.
I'm saying, that is why.
Right, but let's go back to the kickstand thing, because we're dealing with dirt bikes here, so they haven't got an interlock on them. And I would argue that having a bike fall on somebody stationary because they kind of overcooked it while putting the kickstand up while it was stationary is less damaging than actually riding off with a kickstand down and dealing with the first obstacle with it down.
We haven't even introduced
really
that many
hurt
people get on a
themselves.
bike with it on the kickstand, step on the foot peg and step over, right?
Is that an approved technique?
Well, this is what I'm saying. I'm explaining why it is written that way,
Right.
because this has been approved to prevent you from being sued if something happens. If we actually do the other method, because that's off book, so we could be held responsible. But point being is, I'm
well, probably something happened. And they got
the point
sued
is
at
that
some point, so
I already am like, oh, I got a problem with this. I got a problem with this. But you have to stick with the program, which leads me into the conversation of Wendy and I were saying, if insurance, litigation,
Yes.
and all the things
Yes.
were not an issue,
Yes.
what would our school look like? What would we teach?
Just send it.
send it.
I say everyone gets a costume.
Yeah, I think all students must be dressed as their favorite Disney princess. That's step one.
Well, and in fact, Wendy, are we making any announcement yet?
Oh, I think you should.
Well, you just did.
What's the announcement? It seems really exciting. Let's.
About the Black Hills.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it is a non-announcement, but Vintage Rides is going to be offering the Adventure Academy in the Black Hills, and that's similar to the program they currently offer in France and Wales, which is 1 day of closed course training, 2 days of guided trail rides. So it is.
Very
yeah.
cool. Do you go to Spearfish Canyon?
It is to be determined. So we're putting together. There's so
This is
many.
what we're
I am
working
familiar with this
on.
beautiful part of the world.
So many fantastic
Oh my
trails
God.
up
Yes.
there. Yeah.
So,
So
2,600 miles.
What we want to do is give people the basic level of comfort and familiarity with their adventure bike, or in this case, with the Himalayan 450. And then immediately take those out in the trail. Because it's one thing to sit on a closed course and say, here's how you handle a hill and here's how you handle braking. And then to get out in the real world and put all those pieces together immediately in a safe environment with support really cements those skills.
Yeah. So part of what we're doing, our certification and teaching people, is so that we can work with this, doing these tours.
And
That's
it's for
part training.
2026, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Part training and then part tour. But we also have to be insured as instructors. So we may have to stick with one of the curriculum that already exists, even though it may have things like the kickstand order that I don't agree with. So that's why we're like, well, let's play the game. What if we could do just things the way we want to do? And was one of the things that I love about the Misfits rally is that we're teaching some first aid, basic first aid. You know, things like, to me, it's real world application, things that you may encounter as a rider. We are also teaching basic things like changing your tires.
Right.
Right?
Do we need this in the real world, Jim?
I would say here are the two repairs you need to be competent at in the real world of crashing your motorcycle out in the middle of nowhere. One is front and back tube, and how do you get the bike off the ground and do all that shit efficiently. The second is proper application of steel stick. I have used steel stick, honestly, for more repairs and baling wire, whether it was a broken clutch perch, right? All of a sudden, my clutch doesn't work. Whoops, steel stick and some safety wire. The big one is engine side cases. I've seen so many of those punched by a rock, and you're like, oh, there's a hole in the engine. There's oil coming out. You clean it up. You pop some steel stick on there, like less than an hour. It's almost a permanent fix.
And actually, for Misfits Rally 2026, I think I might include steel stick repairs.
Yeah, and it's mostly to see someone do it.
With real-time punching a hole in an engine.
Yeah.
Ooh, whose engine?
Yeah, that's right. But I think, yes, I would include those, at least those two. Those are the two most popular repairs.
So there you
Who's
go.
going to be voluntold?
You know, another thing, like Jim, that we've learned, I'm kind of borrowing and stealing from different things we've learned. But when we took Jocelyn Snow's class, one of the things we learned is how to tow and be towed.
Oh,
You
yeah.
have to tow somebody out using straps on foot pegs. Emma, have you ever learned that technique?
Oh, God, no.
Yeah, because that's more of like a dirt adventure thing when you have to get yourselves back to society, civilization. And it's a great skill.
Here's something I'll just start because we're getting, by the time you're towing a dirt bike
you guys
somewhere.
had to tow John out, right?
Yeah, we towed John's bike.
Yeah.
Well, John's bike, like, I don't know, 18 miles out of the desert.
Yeah.
And,
Josh?
Thank you, Josh Hampton.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say, if I was going to start any dirt bike class, where I would start, as you can, is a basic trials riding class. If you're going to build fundamentals of dirt bike riding, I think a basic trials class would be absolutely the way to do it, because it's going to be all about balance and clutch and throttle control.
It would serve you very well.
But we don't have trials bikes.
No, I understand that, but you can mimic that.
Well, learn to loft the wheel and rock over a log.
Right,
Yeah.
you learn the
Here's the thing,
technique.
you're going to use that all the time. Going up
Right.
some hill and having to turn around and shit, you'll figure that out because you don't have much choice. But to be able to ride fluidly from the very beginning,
figure it
Well,
out.
you're
Neil,
not going to get as tired. You're not going to
that's
get
in
exhausted.
the beginner dirt bike class. We had him do that over 2x4s and a 4x4, 2x4, 4x4, and a 6x6.
Nice.
And that is something that is taught. That's basic. So
Okay.
yeah, I agree with you.
But the balance is huge. And where I really see it around here, we have a lot of mountain bike riders. Any mountain bike riders I've taken, one was a son, one was a dad, that have never ridden a motorcycle before, they pick up dirt biking instantly because of the downhill mountain biking. So they get the brake control, front and rear brake. They get the balance part of it. So that would be my suggestion. As best you can, you work on balance, clutch, and throttle control.
So Wendy, you were just up in Canada taking a class. Can you talk about some of the things that were offered in that? Because that was pretty well-rounded.
It was a very well-rounded class. So it wasn't just, it had a pretty substantial rider training element, and it also had mechanics was a pretty big part of the training. So all of the, really starting with like, here are the tools. Let's identify these tools that we're going to need. Here are all the parts of the bikes and a basic idea of what they do. And then trailside mechanics, tire changes and taking care of your chain and replacing levers and the basic things that go wrong.
Lever MacGyvering is probably a big one too.
It is,
Whether
yeah.
it's a shifter or a clutch lever.
Yep, how to bump start a bike, how to pick up a bike.
There you go, bump starting.
And then they had trailside first aid. So accident scene, trauma first aid training, stabilization, life-saving techniques, and navigation.
Yes.
So
That's a big one.
Remember how
yes.
screwed we were at Yosemite Adventures trying
I
to
got into it.
understand the Garmin?
I'm still suffering from the arthritis in
Yeah.
my hands crashing, but
yeah.
but navigation's huge. And I think navigation, I'm sorry to kind of hijack it there. It's also fun. To me, navigating's kind of a fascinating part of the experience.
And that was a big part of what they did, was not only go over the various tools that are available, but how to use those tools to kind of preview your route and how to recognize, as these people were sent out on their own adventures, say, oh, that's what that symbol on the map meant, that this is a hiking trail. Like, this isn't going to work for us.
Yeah. Back to navigating, though, something that's really helpful. For example, we've been on maps, me and John and Scotty, where I don't even know where we were. I think it was Jawbone Canyon, maybe. And we were tired into the day. Let's just bomb back to camp. There's a straight road. Well, if we had taken the time to look at the contour lines, it was a utility road. And a lot of times utilities, like, we don't give a F about the terrain. We're going to go straight. And Scott even warned us, is like, straight roads aren't always the easiest roads. And sure enough, we end up on these just gnarly ass rocky hill climbs at the end of the day. Had we taken the time to read the map and understand what contour lines looked like, we would have realized that straight road is really going to suck.
Because
You gotta be down with the topo.
Yeah, you gotta be down with the
need
topo.
A complete understanding. From what you told me about this course, it was very, very impressive. I mean, getting down into the absolute fundamental basics of tools, how to use them, what to do, the fundamental basics of what you're going to need. Sounds like a great course.
It is about building confidence as a rider, which expands beyond just operating the motorcycle.
Right.
So,
Something else that I don't know that I've ever seen this in a class, but it's one of those things that you figure out on your own. But I remember being like, when we were at Carrizo one time, and there's like a little bit of a hill climb, and a guy behind me had like puttered out and fallen over on the hill. Not a big crash or anything, he just fell over. But then he's sitting there struggling, trying to pick his bike up on the hill. And I'm at the top going, grab the wheel, drag the bike around. And it's something that not everyone thinks about.
Mhm.
I think that's very valuable information. Drag it around so the wheels are on the downhill side and you're parallel to the hill and you can pick it up without the threat of it rolling, and you're on the uphill side so that you can easily get on, and then you could do your little thingy method and get down. But I don't think I've had that in a class. Have you, Jim?
No, I mean, and I've only taken a couple of dirt classes. One was with Jocelyn, which was just great. And honestly, Jocelyn was just about building confidence and keeping your eyes up and stay on the throttle, basically.
Which is really big.
Oh, every time I think about it.
But now let me ask you this, because this came up with Wendy, and she's like, just don't ask me to ride down the length of a 4x4. Right?
Yeah, but
we did that.
We rode down a telephone pole.
Have you used that in real life?
Every single time.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Me too.
Because it's all about having, I even do it on the street. Like we probably all do it. You see a stop painted on the street, like 300 feet in front of you. And I'll be like, I'm going to go in between the T and the O and kind of keep my eyes up and see if my muscle, kind of my memory, and you look down, you're right in between the T and the O. So I think riding down the planks, the 4x4 is kind of sucky because you don't know what's going to happen when you fall off it. But like a plank, I think it's great for confidence.
I used it once when I was riding down a trail that a monster truck had gone through, had such deep ruts that it filled with water that I had to ride down just the center line.
Mm-hmm.
And just like, oh, but I fall over. Oh, yeah. And I'm like, oh, look up.
Well,
look up.
And here's the beauty about modern dirt bikes. That's all I've ridden. But basically is like, if you keep your eyes on the prize, you're going to get there. We were watching some of the hard enduro today, Wendy and I, up at Donner. And these guys are just going through these scree fields and just pounding and shit. And some of my best riding has been like in a panic, right? But I know if I'm going up a baby head uphill and I'm like, I start getting in trouble, if I just stay on the throttle, keep the rear wheel moving and keep my eyes at the top of the hill, I'm probably going to get there. I mean, it'll be like a buck and bronco, but I'd always get there, So anytime your eyes go down, you're hosed. But if your eyes are on the horizon.
And I think a lot of that, and you kind of broached on the subject saying modern trail bikes, is having faith in your machine. We had this conversation 2 weeks ago. Modern bikes are great.
They're so good.
They are so good.
I have pounded into shit like where the valley goes straight down into a hole and then straight up the other side. And you're like, I'm hosed. And you just hit the and you're like, oh my God, I'm going back up.
It
works.
It's just having faith in your machine. I mean, there's a place for vintage bikes. I'm riding a 46-year-old bike today, and it's very charming to ride. Yeah. But when you ride something that old, you realize how inadequate it is compared with modern stuff.
Well, when you're riding off-road, when you have something with significant suspension travel and a 21-inch front wheel, that makes a big difference.
Well, another thing that I like, something again that we took from Jocelyn Snow, and now we've put it into our own rally. And in fact, we do it out here in the garage on mini bikes sometimes, is our little challenge course, which has a little balance beam. It has a little teeter-totter, but also rope in the pot or the coffee grinder or whatever you call it.
AKA the death trap.
Really went back to what we were...
completed that one successfully yet.
What we were teaching them yesterday when you're having to just go around in a tight circle is you have to look like across the circle, not where you're going, but where you're going to be, Yeah,
and that's all clutch and throttle control too.
It is. So, I mean, that's something I would like to add, because even on mini bikes or adventure bikes, it still, I think, makes you a better rider. And a lot of it comes down to where you're looking.
Mm-hmm. It's all like that. All of it is that, yeah.
We could see with our student, just, he is kind of struggling in the figure eight and the slow speed maneuvers. And as soon as I say, hey, look at me, look way over here, he's just immediately smooth in those circles. He changed nothing else about what he was doing other than where he was looking.
Just looked up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, in that vein, I'll throw it. This is an activity that you should incorporate in. TT track riding. Not TT track racing, but TT track riding.
I mean, cutting the rear wheel loose?
Well, it's the same reason racers like the flat track. Mm-hmm. It's clutch and throttle control and breaking the rear wheel. It took me a long time to understand dirt bikes, you kind of turn them with the rear wheel, right? A lot of the time. But the TT track, it provides repetition. I hate to practice stuff, but the TT track's fun. You spend like 10 laps on that. I'm pretty wiped out. But you've got like, whatever, 5 left-hand turns and a right-hand turn. But the whole time you're looking way past the turn. You're really playing with the clutch and throttle because you want to look cool, right? And break the rear end free. And I think spinning a bunch of laps on like a dirt track really helps you hone your balance, because you got to get your weight outside. You got to weight the foot peg. So I think some laps are a good thing.
That is good. And now I wanted to ask Bagel, because I know at your scooter rallies, sometimes you have your own little challenge course for scooters. What kind of little challenges are you putting in there? Because a lot of that stuff might also translate. Oh, you're muted. There you go.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, it's possible that some of them might translate. Now our challenge courses are meant for paved roads, so they're designed with smooth surfaces in mind, but they could be used on dirt as well. Like,
they usually
for example,
involve a blow-up doll too.
They could in some cases, absolutely. It depends on the rally, but some of the typical challenges that we'll have would be like, one is a teeter-totter, where you have like a 2x6 that you need to ride up, and there's a pivot in the middle that's maybe 6 or 8 inches off of the ground. So you kind of ride up, and then it pivots while you're on the middle of it. So then your position sort of changes, and you have to stay on the beam as you ride back down the other side. There is a box that you can, where you ride in, you have to do a circle within the box without putting your foot down.
That's a good one.
And then exit the box. Another one is I guess called maybe a merry-go-round, where you have to kind of push this little
the coffee grinder or merry-go-round. Yeah.
Right. Well, you could either take it by your hand or push it with your front wheel, depending on how it's set up. Push it around a circle and then get it it completely around without going too far. Coming around 360 degrees. Other ones are let's see. You could have like a slalom, going between cones. And you can have come up with all kinds of ideas too. There have been like, there have been like some really weird, like, not like a ramp that you're like doing a jump over, but where it has, you're kind of riding down a course where there are ramps that are angled from one side to the other, and you have to kind of transition between, and it's like it throws off your balance.
The camber changes.
Right, exactly. The camber change, like those can be really tough and kind of dangerous, actually. So I haven't seen those very often.
Yeah. I should think it's doubly hard because, of course, you have no clutch control. It's all throttle control.
Depends on the bike. I mean,
but
has clutch, but
So I think
I'll throw one more out there. Actually, practice going downhill, not super steep, but steep downhills. Right, not using engine braking. Right, because the engine doesn't know how fast you want to go. But practice using your front and rear brake. We always think rear brake. New riders, rear brake only. But as you start to improve, you use the front brake way, way more. That
is also in the intro to dirt biking. When you've done the K-turn and you're doing the U-turns on the hill, then it turns into do a U-turn and stop halfway down the hill. So you have to have a controlled stop.
And you can't do that with a rear brake.
Right.
Yeah, and Liza, there's another one that's not necessarily like like part of a skills course, but it's a really good challenge that I think would translate really well to dirt, is the slow race, where you have two people drag racing as slow as you possibly can, and whoever goes over the line first loses. And so you're trying to be as slow as you can throughout the whole course. You can't put a foot down. You can't go like out to the side too far. But if you stay on the course and you get to the end, whoever gets to the end last wins.
That's a good one.
Well, we've done that
basically
over the line,
you mark it 0, right?
Right, and that teaches clutch control. It can teaches throttle control, brake control, your balance. It kind of is a really good exercise to integrate all of these different skills together to control the bike in a very specific way.
So, Wendy, I have some other suggestions that maybe we should consider integrating. We haven't talked about packing your bike. What tools and supplies you want to bring, right? And we also haven't talked about bike prep and accessories.
Well, yeah. I mean, if this is a new rider, that's one thing, but this would be like a little more advanced, kind of.
Yeah, well, I mean, for long distance riding, for scootering, for adventure riding, we all learn these little accessories that we like. It might be certain type of luggage, or it might be a certain.
Well, yeah, but hang on. I think we're getting ahead of ourselves still, because the one thing that always seems to be neglected in any course is the fundamental thing: look after yourself. And that may mean make sure you get a good night's sleep. Make sure that you are physically able, and it might require a hard introspective look at yourself. Are you physically able to do this challenge?
You know what good hydration looks like?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you have sufficient hydration and protein?
That's what I was
with
getting
you?
to for packing.
Right. To
Bringing,
complete the task.
Dried fruit, water. And, Jim's learned to bring sneakers.
Well, it depends on the route.
Camp shoes.
A conversation we had with our student the other day is because we could watch him. He would just nail an exercise, and then he's getting worse and worse and worse. And he's like, no, I'm good. I'm hydrating. It's all right. When you are fatigued, any kind of fatigue that you're experiencing, one of the first symptoms is a diminished ability to recognize that fatigue in yourself. So he's telling us, no, I'm doing great. I'm okay, even though it's hot. And we're like, no, we're going to take a little breather, drink some water, drink more water than you think you need.
So in the Liza and Wendy training, that should be included. Money no included. Well, we should include that, a real safety and health check on yourself. And that always seems to be missing from training.
True. And back to the hydration part, I just thought we could compound it into the navigational part. Something I learned from an old guy one time, like a two-stroke dude, is, in a group, we stop at every trail. Anytime another trail comes up. So if there's a side trail or another sign or something, we always stop, wait for everybody to catch up. You can't just wait till you see the person behind you and then just keep going. But the one thing when you're riding in a pack or with just one other person, or just do it by yourself, I do, every time there's a trail crossing, it's a great time to stop, get off the bike, have some water, take your helmet off, because the more breaks you take, the longer you can ride effectively. Because you're like, once you get tired, it gets exponentially worse, like as it goes on. We
mentioned that at the training, that on trail riding, that the method is like the first person who comes to the junction or fork in the road, they wait until the next person shows up, they take off. That next person waits until the next person comes. So you always wait until the person behind you sees which way everyone went.
Which is awesome unless you're the last person. And sometimes they're like the least. I know. And then you're exhausted because everyone else gets like a 5-minute break. But the last person's like, okay, it's here. Let's go.
So here's the deal. We would like to hear from our listeners. What do you think are the really crucial, beneficial things that should be included in a off-road riding class that then is practically applied on a little tour?
I'll mention one more thing, I'm sorry to interrupt, that Emma spoke to, and I think it might be the most important thing, is make sure you're physically fit before you go. The example I'll give is, it can get really hard and you didn't expect it to get hard, right? Like I was because a couple times I got off the bike to look if it was bad, and it wasn't too bad, but it could have been really bad. So next thing you know, your riding got very much more physical, but you might have to pick up an adventure bike. And that's why I got the T7 instead of the Africa Twin, because they're heavy. And in a parking lot's one thing, but if you're on a side hill, you're in the rocks, you're in a little bit of a rut. It makes sure you're not going to blow your back out and have a bad situation get worse.
Right.
And then like when I was changing the rear wheel, because I suck at it, I was doing a lot of exercising leading up to it. And I feel that if I wasn't, I would have possibly had a physical issue that would have made the whole thing that much worse.
Part of the reason, nothing would make me happier than going out with any of you and spending a few days out. But, right now, I'm simply not healthy enough to do it. And the last thing you want is dealing with an Emma on the trail who's had a coronary. Now what happens? So my mission is get myself healthy enough that, I can spend a few days away from a hotel room and room service.
It's not, hotel rooms are not bad. That's what I'm learning as I get older.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say, they are quite.
My friend says it's not vacation when you sleep on the ground.
A lot to be said for a shower and a bed.
So please email us at motorcyclesandmisfits@gmail.com and let us know what what are some like cool tricks or things that you think everyone should be taught that maybe isn't being included?
For some reason, I had a vision
Carry
of
plenty of
Willy,
water and put Vitalite in it. That's my trick.
I had the vision of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory's version of a motorcycle dirt bike school.
Give
Give us your wacky ideas.
What worked for you or what contributed to your last get off? What would you like to learn? What trick do you not know that you wish you did?
Shall we suggest a header for this, like dirt training?
Training.
Yeah, just training. Just market training. Just like the ones from me, I'd like you to mark Jason. Market training.
Great.
And then, we'll figure it out.
All right. This next topic, I'm putting a strict 10-minute cap on this conversation.
Oh, shit.
Because this could go on. So, and I think we all are going to have our own opinion on this. But since in lieu of Wendy,
You literally set a timer, didn't you?
in lieu of Wendy being here, I want to ask everyone what they think is the penultimate touring bike that you could buy right now. You caught that, Wendy, that you could go and buy from a dealer right now. That is going to be the best bike. Yes, you'll have your opinion, Bagel. Hold on. That can
I
be.
just want to offer one correction. Penultimate means the next.
Oh, sorry.
Ultimate.
Yeah, almost.
Oh,
the
sorry.
ultimate.
Ultimate.
The
Okay.
ultimate.
The ultimate. Thank you. What is the ultimate bike that you can buy right now at a dealer that has the comfort, has the accessories, has the pack luggage, but also can easily do like 200,000 miles and be maintained easily?
Not that she needs an introduction, but should we touch on the fact that Wendy rides really far?
Yeah, she does.
You know, Wendy is
Well, there's
Wendy is a Yamaha
But she's
girl,
bitter
and
about
that's
the
it.
way that I've just, because she cannot give her the answer she
I
wants to give.
guarantee you there's a dealership that has a, hey, write in to motorcyclesandmisfits@gmail.com if you know a dealership that has a Yamaha FJR 1300
Because
on the
for
floor.
Wendy, the Yamaha FJR, which has been discontinued, is the ultimate bike.
You know, the
Or
German,
penultimate.
the Germans
soon to
have
be.
the best name for accessories. Would you like to know the German word for accessories? It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Zubehör.
Superhero.
Yes, it's fantastic. Zubehör.
So,
I like that.
I want to
Isn't
go
that
around the
great?
room and see what everyone thinks is the best bike you can buy right now. I'm going to say, there's a lot of choices. I mean, and you two as mechanics really understand what's going to be a very good
Yes.
high mileage bike. Now, my answer, you're probably not expecting, but having done cross country
Stretch Booster.
on an Indian Chief, I was really comfortable on that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I really
That's a good answer.
I really enjoyed that bike
Yeah.
a lot.
I've ridden that. It's comfy. And the stereo goes up to 11 on that. I think.
Yeah.
So that's a bike I would easily.
I rode a
buy
Sport
and ride.
Chief and liked it, except it burned my leg. I had to be careful about that.
And
So-
I think in the garage today, we had a very distinct split in answers between mechanics and non-mechanics.
Well,
Absolutely.
as
I want
to
to
what makes a good.
Let's go around the room. Emma, for you, what bike could you go in and buy right now that you think could easily do 200,000 miles?
But I'm going to quantify this because
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that include this for me, but would exclude it from others. For me, a 200,000 mile bike, it has to be comfortable. It has to have sufficient power. It has to be manageable enough that I'm not fighting the bloody thing. So that's
Yeah.
Goldwings out straight away. And it has to be easy enough and cost effective enough to service that it's not going to bankrupt me getting it to 200,000 miles. And for me, that's one answer. And I know people are going to, but it's chain drive. I never have. If you know how to look after a chain, then no problem. And to me, Versys 11. I think that is an amazing mile-munching bike. It is a proven platform. It's fast as fury. It's very reasonable to service. It's capable of some enormous mileages. Connies I find a little bit chunky and a little bit hard to manage, just as I would the FJR13. I think for me that would be a little big to manage on a daily basis, as good a bike as it and the Connie is. So I'm going to go for something slightly lighter weight. Yes, I know it's chain drive, but to me, the Versys 11 is a mile cruncher extraordinaire.
Okay.
And I could get it to 200,000 mile easily without breaking me.
All right, Neil, what do you think?
I'm going to disagree with Emma about the Goldwing not being manageable. They're surprisingly easy to ride because the weight is low. And of course, they're very comfortable. They're very reliable. And being a flat 6, it's pretty easy to get to everything that you need to service.
So you're going to go with the Goldwing?
Yep.
All right. That's a solid choice. Jim, what would you choose?
You know, I'm flirting with the Goldwing, although I do like the Chieftain's a good one. But I'm going to step out of my comfort zone because I like Emma's. I really like yours. I like the Japanese simplicity, cost of maintenance. Cost of maintenance is real.
Right.
So I'm going to throw that out the window. And I'm going to go with, because I'm curious what everyone thinks, your source of pure performance with 145 horsepower, 110 foot-pound of torque, the 1300cc Boxer engine of the R1300 RT. So I'm going to go with that.
I mean, the BMWs are truly high mileage bikes. I've got a lot of experience with modern BMWs because of the European trips.
Right.
Only thing is that cost of maintenance.
That's for real, but it's not the big 1600 giant America one.
Yeah,
right? So it's a little bit, but the maintenance. So like, let's say, what would, if I took it in for an oil change, new filter, and new tires, what's that going to run me at Mototown?
$1,500 plus.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because the oil filter's more expensive. There's nothing particularly special about the tires, but you've got to be careful that you've got TPMS monitors that you need to be careful with. There's a bit of an upcharge with that. The ABS systems on those bikes are really finicky. So, every time I get a modern BMW on the ramp, I always hope and pray I don't have to recalibrate the ABS on it.
So just your basic maintenance, but if you have something weird going on, right? But the Kawasaki's probably under $1,000 for that.
Oh yeah, absolutely, all day, every day.
Both, you and Neil have picked proven bikes that are, they're all contenders. Bagel, what are you going to choose?
I have not ridden a bike 200,000 miles, a single bike, I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
I've ridden multiple bikes more than that, but so this is kind of outside of my wheelhouse because I'm not the one to really give advice on long distance motorcycles, but
it can be a scooter too. I mean, it's what are you choosing to do long distance riding?
God, if I was going to choose a scooter to do 200,000 miles, I don't even know. Like that
sounds more like punishment.
Do you think?
Well,
do you think
which topics can you find on eBay?
Honestly, I
sticking with the Vespa. Are you happy with the Vespa 300?
I mean, a Vespa might be able to do it if you take good care of it.
Or do you want to step up to like a Bergman?
I would take like a Honda,
Venza.
maybe a Venza, or possibly might be able to do that.
I tell you what,
I was trying to think of like motorcycles are much more suited for that sort of mileage.
But I tell you what, that Venza, I've ridden a few of them, and they go like the absolute clappers.
I've heard, but I've never had a chance to ride one.
Oh,
so
you'd like it. They're actually they are quite dynamic to ride. Long term, because of course they're not made in Japan, so I don't know long term. I think they're made in Indonesia.
All right.
Okay. I tell you what, I would.
But what was the bike that Isaac had? It was a Honda.
Yeah, the ST.
The ST
1100.
Yeah, they go on, but they are a bit of a lump.
You can't get one right now. They're discontinued.
they're not available now.
Right.
But yeah.
All right. So Wendy, what bike are you choosing?
You're just going to tell me I'm playing this game wrong, but I'm going to tell you I don't need the cost of ownership of a BMW.
Tra-la-la.
I don't need the difficulty. As a mechanic, I want to do as little work as possible, so I gravitate away from chains.
Right.
I don't need the espresso maker of a Goldwing. I guarantee you there's a shop out there with an FJR, so I'm just going to go ahead and say there's a reason I've got more than 500,000 miles
Right.
on my
She
two
expected
FJRs.
me to say V-Strom.
I did.
Yeah.
And I would say that, like, pressed to pick, V-Strom would be my second choice. It is a proven platform. It is the Toyota Corolla of motorcycles. It is beautifully uninspiring and just quietly keeps doing its job. That said, that the 800 V-Strom we rode at VMD, like, I was surprisingly excited about that. But again, is it a 200,000 mile bike? I don't know.
No, yeah, maybe.
So,
I'd like to point out,
one way
Wendy
to
did
find
not
out.
shoot down my Indian chief. So moving on.
But it's just in defense of the FJR. It is an amazingly good bike.
Now, I wanted to ask,
It's just a bit porky for me.
what are the top 3 most common bikes seen at the Iron Butt Rally?
BMW as a brand.
Cha-ching.
Yep.
You're asking?
Yeah. No, I'm saying cha-ching. You're one of the top 3.
And I
And
think
what else?
this past year, I didn't look at it, but I think this past year we had a tremendous number of competitors coming in from the Hoka Hay. So we saw a huge uptick in Indians and Harleys. And I don't know where that lands.
So
But-
any Pan Americas?
There was a couple Pan Americas. Not a tremendous amount. It was mostly cruisers.
How about Goldwings?
There's always a small handful of Goldwings. There's always Yamaha is always nicely represented. I will say that Yamaha FJR is one of the few bikes that have had more of them finish than started the rally.
Okay. And how many
How does that
Kawasaki versus 1100s have you seen?
Well, that's a brand new bike, so you're not going to see any.
Yeah, I haven't seen any 1100s, but there have been other Verses.
So I just want to say, I think we all gave good answers, so we're all winners except for Emma.
Hello,
Anything?
Nat. No, but I think
That's a cool looking bike, though. I've been.
But what you've got to just look at the complete ownership package, and for me, it's got to be that proven platform that's not going to break me financially.
Right, because if you're doing a lot of miles, stupid thing, you're doing a lot of miles, your tires, your oil changes, your filters,
right,
like everything.
And paying for that BMW, or even putting an air filter into the Goldwing.
Yeah, that's a bit of a body
It is
strip down.
That
so offensive.
means cost. You know, that versus 1,000, you're in, you're out. You
So,
never pay more
Tell
than
you what,
$1,000
Emma, I'll
for a service.
give you a chance to redeem yourself.
Stretch booster.
No?
With purple underglow.
Phil, email us. Let us know what you think is the ultimate long distance bike.
That'll
And
be
anyone else.
interesting.
And I would like to hear from other people too. Chris Comley, I know he'll Sportster. Right. No,
Sportster.
I know. Let's hear from people. What do you think is the ultimate?
I would add one wrinkle to it, literally. What if Stelvio were in the middle of your tour?
What?
What if Stelvio Pass were in the middle of...
No, we're not adding that.
Oh, guess who'll be laughing
not
on
adding
her
We're
versus
not
1,000. I'll be having a whale of a time. Scraping pegs and pulling wheelies after every turn.
So let us know what you think at motorcyclesandmisfits@gmail.com. The reason I had to cut that short is because we've got a lot of really good emails to get to.
Now, bear in mind, I am saving mine, except for the one with the growler on it.
Should we start with that? Do you want to start with that? Because that's a strong email. Let's do that.
Okay. This is from Mark Kaufman.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
You mentioned needing a dog in your Harley marketing pics. Attached is a picture of my dog, Tucson.
Oh, Tucson.
He's that right blend of cute and fearsome. I won't disagree with that. And would fit in the ideal image for your additional photos to market the Harley. Unfortunately, we live in Minneapolis, Minnesota, so logistics on the photo shoot will be a challenge.
Oh, you
My
can just
gar-
Photoshop them in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
My garage is too much of an embarrassing, dirty hole. So my only pick is of Tucson, but I would definitely say the dream garage needs a kegerator. I agree
Yes.
with that.
Let's see the doggo. Let's see the picture.
Tucson either has an incredibly large tongue or is chomping on a very large red ball. I sincerely hope it's a red ball, because if it's his tongue, he's very deformed.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Very handsome dog.
He's a
very
good
handsome.
boy. He's definitely a
He's a good
doggo,
boy.
isn't he?
He is a doggo. Good dog. All right, Mark.
Love it. I have one here from Will. And Will says,
But we shall call him Willie.
Wee Willie Winky runs
stop
through the
it, y'all.
town.
He says, "Hey,
Upstairs,
Misfits."
downstairs.
I was just listening to
In
the
his Nike.
podcast where Liza was discussing the difficulties she's been having selling her Harley. She said she entertained the idea of a trade for a Royal Enfield Himalayan, but she had never had one and thought it might be fun. Well, I happen to have a 2020 Himalayan, and I submitted a limerick about it a while back for the limerick contest. Yes,
I
you
remember
did.
that limerick.
The bike is not currently for sale, but I've entertained the idea of selling it as I haven't been divorced yet, so I have one too many bikes. Should Liza find herself in the Colorado Rockies anytime soon, I'd be happy to loan her the bike for a few days, let her try it out and see if it'd be something she would want. No pressure to buy mine, as I'm still not sure if I'm ready to part with it. I think her Harley would be too much bike for me. I'm old and short, which might explain the lack of a divorce now that I think of it. Anyway, the offer stands. I wish her all the luck in selling her Harley.
Oh,
thank you, Will. That is so
Sweet
sweet.
email from Will.
Well-
Harley email.
I think you would find a Himalayan charming, which is...
Well, I mean, I did test ride at Vintage Days, the new Himalayas.
Oh, yeah, the new one's
They're
nothing like the
grunty.
old one.
They're fun.
That was better than you thought, wasn't it?
Yeah. All right, what you got there?
I've got an email here. It says, "Hey, Misfits. Sorry to send a second letter, but I wanted to respond to the dream garage concept. There's a local body shop that is in an old small car dealership. I love that place. I sip my coffee at a cafe across the street and imagine having a bike or two on display in the front windows, using the showroom as a party space with a bar and pool tables, and then there's the work bays in the back. Of the damage I could do and undo in that much space, having a place to host a local bike night would be epic. Anyways, here is a shot that I took this morning of my current garage, which isn't huge, but still a place I happily spend a lot of time. Keep up the awesome work, y'all. Missed the other Misfits at VMD. Hope to see you next year. From Patty in New Jersey.
Oh,
Patty.
Hey, Patty.
Love you, Patty.
I think the bar stool should be like the one Corbin has at
Yes.
the Wizards Cafe with their like motorcycle
Yeah.
seats
Yeah.
with
Did
leather
I-
and frills.
Saddles.
Did I ever share that
Saddles,
Moto
yes.
Town used to be a body shop?
Really?
Back in the 60s. Yeah. So the whole complex I'm in was Marina Service Station, and this was from 1946.
That makes sense when
until-
you see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
I occupy what was the body shop.
Huh.
Yeah.
Cool.
I got another quick one here. This came via text,
Oh, I say.
High
and
tech.
this is from our friend Paul and Matt Coopin.
All right.
Ball.
Yeah.
Paul.
Paul went to Pakistan with us.
Yes.
And Paul and Matt
Cool.
have both been here to the garage and the podcast. He says, "Hey, Liza, Melissa, Matt, and I wanted to send you a photo of our dream garage at Lake Combe. It's a bit over 1,000 square feet and can contain a wake boat, jet ski, 3 motorcycles, and a truck with a camper. It has a TV, will soon have a fridge, but no sofa or bathroom. I'd like to have some Misfits meet here for an ADV in the gold country around Auburn, Grass Valley, and Nevada City. We miss you and hope to see you soon."
Oh, that's a nice neck of the
Nice.
woods.
Yeah.
Territory up there.
And Liza,
Yeah.
by the way, I wanted to mention, you mentioned there was like a website that advertised
Oh, yeah.
garages first sort of thing. I think that might be carproperty.com. I found a place that in Springfield, the next like couple 2 towns over,
Yeah.
that's got a five car garages.
Oh. All right. Jim, you got one there?
I do. I got my
He's
glasses.
got his seeing glasses on.
Hello.
Oh,
Okay.
hello.
All right. This is from Stevie. Hey, Stevie.
Hey, Stevie.
I just found you guys. I don't have anyone to ride with. or that I would like to ride with. I've been feeling disenchanted to ride since my brother passed last fall.
Aw.
Condolences.
Sorry to hear
Yeah,
that.
condolences. I never thought of looking for a motorcycle podcast. Who knew? And anyway, I'm about to push play. I'm so excited to learn about you guys.
Hey.
So yeah, right on. Welcome, Stevie.
Welcome. Thank you so much. All right, Emma, let's see. Bagel, you have one there to read.
I do. And it reads, "Hello, Misfits. My name is Joey, and I work for a motorcycle parts retailer full-time.
Bada bing, bada boom.
And also travel on our events team to all the major motorcycle rallies and events across the country.
Cool.
I get the pleasure of dealing with cranky old leather daddies who love to list every modification they've ever done just to ask for a cup holder.
You love them, don't you, Wendy? Those are your people.
Can't be beat.
Yeah.
Nice.
Leather daddies.
Continuing.
Daddy, I like it. This guy's from New York.
I just wanted to give some feedback on Sturgis versus other rallies and why it's not called the most dangerous event.
Did you hear that part, Wendy, where I said, why is Isle of Man called, the most dangerous race, but Sturgis isn't called the most dangerous rally?
I
When
did.
there's more deaths at Sturgis.
Yep. I'm interested to hear their take.
Continuing on.
Going to different rallies, Sturgis is entirely different. The reason it will never go away is because South Dakota's entire economy is based on that event. Also, because you all were witness to COVID Sturgis, where bikers were going to show up whether they got a souvenir beer mug or not,
Yeah.
you can shut down bars, but that won't stop the drinking. You'd have to close every road in the state. And locals rely on that money. They will rent out their yard or go on vacation and rent their house to 20 different tent campers. The state and public is too involved for it to go away. Also, compared to other events like Daytona, Sturgis is a beautiful place to ride without needing to leave.
Did you just say Daytona is not a beautiful place?
Well, I know you're comparing it to Florida, though.
Depends what you're looking at, I suppose. But he says that Daytona is a ton of people.
Yeah.
But you've got to ride somewhere to go on a ride.
Mm-hmm.
At Sturgis, Main Street and Lozelle are the main party locations. Aside from the Chip, there is only scenery to visit.
True.
I also wanted to talk about nostalgic/retro/vintage bikes.
All right.
I think Bagel said it without saying it. Retro is a throwback to a previous style, no matter the age.
Okay.
It's a reincarnation of something old. Vintage is physically of a certain time, which could also be a current production that has old technology.
Okay.
Nostalgic is a feeling. It could be a Trail 70 for someone who had one as a kid. It could be the color of the first paint job you fell in love with. It could be the first time you made a cross-country trip. But it is tied to an experience.
I'm sure there's a wonderful German word for it, but
It's
sure there
called
is.
expensive in German.
Yes.
So sorry for the long email. I've been listening for several years now, heard every episode to date, and could keep writing for days.
Oh, God bless you,
Awesome.
darling.
Ride hard, Joey. P.S.
Yay.
Bring knockback.
Yeah. Amen to that. We
Not
miss
just
Knock.
want to
100%.
come back.
No, Knock was here today.
I know he was.
In
Hey,
fact,
you need to get him back on the show.
I just
Come
wanted
on,
to
get back here, Knock.
thank you for the email. I just wanted to point something out, though. Why is it that the only choice is have what I call the deadliest rally or not have it? Why isn't there a middle in making it safer and putting an
a
emphasis.
somewhat deadly rally.
I live in the Black
deadly.
Hills.
You're like the expert here. Yeah.
Yeah, so I do live in the Black Hills, and they did, and I don't know who they is. I don't know if it was the state or local, but all across the state there was billboards extolling the virtues of proper gear and telling you how uncool you are if you ride without the proper gear. So they are making an effort, as per the statistics you read last week. It's a whole lot of overshooting curves and improper gear.
That seemed to be it, like solo riders shooting off a curve.
Fail
Yeah.
to negotiate
Failure.
Yeah.
to turn.
Yeah.
In the state
helmets
of,
are for squids.
and I teach on-road training in South Dakota, and the vast majority of our deaths are involving alcohol and involving failure to negotiate.
Well,
a curve.
you
and involving lack of gear.
right.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
exactly.
No,
So
it's
they
a lot of it.
the spuddliness, but
And at night, porcupines.
So
But you nailed it, Wendy, just then, because
Yeah, moose
I
there, don't
stand
they?
by what I say. The
Elk?
deaths at Sturgis, it's not motorcycling deaths, it's alcohol-related deaths.
well, it's a
Oh,
lot.
but
it's
all
a
the
lot.
factors.
But if you were to actually enforce the alcohol laws to the letter, at least 50% of those deaths would go away.
I'm going to say that you
At
can
least.
put a price on a life, and that price is beer sales.
Or just the way things are organized too,
I'm just saying. Now, you said he
Make
made
it
the
so
point.
people-
It won't go away because there's too many people depending upon
Right.
this.
Yeah, true.
And
But
so
if you,
why
but-
can't it still exist without the deaths? But what
Yeah.
I like hearing from Wendy is that there is an emphasis on safety
Right.
that's starting to creep in. And that's what I want to hear. I don't want it to go away. I don't want it to lose its flavor. I want it to have a little more emphasis on looking out for your buddies and knowing when to stop and to just wear the gear and be proud of it.
there's a time for partying, but it's after
That's
the
all.
riding is done.
Yeah.
Just don't party and then ride.
Funnily enough,
You know?
here in Monterey, we have a similar problem, and it's tied with Car Week, which is just over. Now, people don't get killed at Car Week. Usually you get some clown who'll wrap a Lamborghini around a lamppost. But every year,
that'd be we're seeing.
you see it every year. I think it was a hurricane this year that went over the bank by Big Sur. But the point is Monterey locals grumble endlessly about Car Week.
Mhm.
But the truth is the revenue it brings in for Monterey far outweigh the inconvenience.
So we have an email from Mark Hoting, and he writes, "Hello, Misfits. I wanted to take a minute to thank you for your role. Thank you for the role your podcast has played in my life over the past several years. I first started listening during a rough stretch when I was out of work and wrestling with my own identity. Each Friday, while mowing the yard, I'd tune in and the world felt just a little bit lighter.
Oh,
It gave me something to look forward to when not much else was moving forward. That's high praise, Mark. Thank you. Somewhere in that time, I picked up a 1972 Triumph T120 Bobbers project to restore. Between your podcast and the endless tinkering on that bike, I managed to keep my hands busy and my head on straight. The resto is still a work in progress. I've included a few pics. I've been back at work for 5 years now, but my Friday ritual hasn't changed. Mow the lawn, listen to the pod, curse at the Triumph, repeat. It's become a rhythm that's kept me grounded and reminded me how important this community really is. So, thank you for the laughs, the stories, the knowledge, and the sense of connection. You've had more of an impact on my life than you could possibly realize, and I'm grateful. Anyway, thanks for being part of the ride. You've made a real difference." From Mark.
Oh, thanks.
Hey,
Very cool.
What
awesome.
What a great email.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Emma, we have time for one more. Do you have?
fantastic. It's a little longer one, so I'm going to go through quite quickly. This is from Jason in Seattle. Tra-la-la.
Hey, Jason.
Listening to the beginning of the latest podcast, and particularly the portion about Scotty and Jim feeling deflated while working on projects, and I am right there. I'm happy to hear they felt slightly deflated. Oh, I'm happy to hear that they felt slightly less deflated by the end of that discussion.
She was slightly flated.
Yes. It says deflated still, and I hope I can get there myself. I am helping 2 friends with their bikes, and both of them are kicking my ass. One is a 72 Honda XL250.
Oh, cool.
When it was brought over, the head was shot. The oil pump had ingested the tip of a gear, so it was locked up and stopped providing oil to the top end. Nasty business. I found a used head on eBay, sourced a new old stock piston, confirmed the bore was still within spec, and slapped it back together. While turning it over to set the valve clearances, I realized it was turning too easily. I was getting resistance from the valve springs, but no compression. On close inspection, I could hear the air coming out of the exhaust valves. Oh dear. Took it all back apart, hoping it was just something stuck to a valve face, but unfortunately it isn't that simple. I tried lapping the valves, but I can still see pitting on the head. I have little to no experience with this kind of thing and didn't want to overdo it on the lapping. I thought maybe I'd taken an offer that it was sealed and put it back together. No love. I don't know if I can keep trying to lap them, or that is foolish, and I needed it somewhere to get the valve seats cut. I'm gutted thinking about how much more money that could cost, and I don't relish the idea of telling my friend the news. Jason, get 2 new exhaust valves and get lapping, buddy. You're going to be fine. Secondly, the other one is a Nord dog that actually belongs to a friend of a friend. It's a Manor 650 Aprilia, an automatic, no less.
Yes.
It's an automatic that has a similar setup to a scooter with a variator and clutch pulley, but instead of springs and weights to change the variator pulley width, it has a servo motor. Were you aware of this, Bagel?
No, I did not know there was a servo motor in there.
Oh, there is. It's lovely and complicated.
Wow.
When it started flashing a gear error and stopped shifting, no shop would take it in, other than a dealer he didn't trust. After a bit of research, I was confident I knew what the problem was and agreed to take a whack at it without any promises. When I got in there, I found not only the confirmation of the problem, but also why he didn't trust the dealer who had last worked on it. Where there was supposed to be a pair of O-rings, they just used RTV sealant and a big ring nut that had been installed backwards, which led to the locking washer machining away to razor sharp edges instead of holding anything together.
Oh my God.
After an excruciating 8-week wait for parts, I put it back together this last weekend. It starts and works better, but now has neutral when he rode it to my place. He had to cover the brake and turn it off at the lights because it was always pulling, but still gives the gear error. Sorry for the long email, but I'm feeling defeated. Hoping Scotty and Jim are discernibly turgid soon, and maybe you can send some air my way. Oh, one more thing. Do you think any Misfits are going to make it up to Seattle for the Isle of Vashon this year? Cheers. I would love to go to the Isle of Vashon TT, but I never know when it is.
I hadn't thought about that. That's within striking reach for me. I mean,
they kept the Vashon TT secret for many, many years, and you had to be a local to know when it was happening.
All right,
so
let me see what I can find, because that would be up my alley.
It would certainly be up my alley.
Well, let me know. I got an alley.
I'll bet you do.
One more. We got one more because we still have so many we haven't gotten to. So, Bagel, you have one there.
Yes, I have an email from Mikey P in Denver.
Mikey!
He says, "Hey, Misfits. I just finished listening to your last episodes about dream motorcycle neighborhoods and garages, and thought I would share my progress towards my dream garage, quote unquote.
Yeah.
My wife and I moved into a small second-story walk-up with a lone parking spot about 10 years ago before I bought my first motorcycle. The absence of a garage wasn't ideal for me at the time of purchase, but I never really imagined my wife would ever cave into my long-running dream of riding motorcycles. When the moment came for me to buy my first bike, the fear of needing to leave it in the parking lot was front of my mind. Fast forward through 6 years of tinkering on the bike on the sun-drenched asphalt and knowing whatever project I start for a day, I needed to finish by nightfall. I finally started thinking that there has to be a better way. That's when I finally pulled the trigger on a 7x12 enclosed trailer that just barely fit in the space and is slowly becoming my version of a dream garage.
Wow, that's brilliant.
Works, yeah.
Yeah. Over the past few months, I've made the space workable by building a workbench into the V nose, installing overhead lighting, convincing a neighbor to let me run power from their backyard to the trailer, and convincing some Harbor Freight kickstand dollies to hold my two bikes, a 2013 Bonneville T100 and 2021 Tenere 700.
There you go.
Upright, holding them upright, and allow me to swivel them around to make space for whatever bike I'm working on. That's pretty smart, I gotta say. I'm hoping to add a layer of paint to the walls, install some proper workshop flooring, insulate the ceiling and walls, and add a solar setup over the next year to hopefully round it out to a comfortable workspace year-round. Unfortunately, not much room for a couch, flat screen, humidor, or minibar like you suggested. But I think Miss Emma will be glad to hear that.
Oh, I'm thrilled, darling, because they don't belong in a garage.
Yeah, and I've also attached a few pictures of my garage if you're interested. Please keep on keeping on, Mikey P from Denver.
Oh,
and I gotta say, this is a really, really well done space.
My favorite thus far, because he's thinking outside the box, and he's using what is available to him.
You dance with who you brought.
Yep.
And what I'm seeing in these pictures, you got two bikes side by side in this trailer. There's some hooks on the wall that have got some straps, and up in the front, there's a whole workbench with drawers, like a tool drawers built into it.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really nice, well-designed, functional space. Lighting. The lighting inside, is super well done. It's this really cool sort of hexagonal design that he put in the ceiling.
I do see
really
a lot
nice.
of room on this wall for a big screen TV.
Yeah,
you could put a big screen TV on there. Totally.
Funnily enough, I always said if I lost the lease on Moto Town and I wasn't prepared to retire just then, I'd just buy a big ass 2-axle trailer, put the tire machine and the ramp in a trailer.
There you go.
And then that would be Moto Town.
And I want to say one of the really cool things I see in this picture is that not only does he have it's like a little mini loft in the front in the V part of this trailer with the Craftsman tool drawers underneath. He's got two little rolling carts that are tool carts on either side that you can totally put your tools in, bring them out, have your parts there all. I mean, this is a really well thought out functional space.
It is a superb workable space.
Yeah.
Well done, Mikey.
Well done.
You did really good here, man. This is good.
Cool.
This is good stuff.
Well, thank you so much for sending us your emails. We want to hear from you guys out there. Send them to what's the email address, Wendy?
motorcyclesandmisfits@gmail.com.
That's right. Wendy, this was your first time here at the garage. How was it?
It was amazing. It was not as I had envisioned entirely, and yet it was so much more beautiful than I had expected. There was so many more butt cheeks than I had expected. It was the experience I needed.
Yeah, we had people dropping off gear, and then there were people getting gear that before we even got to put it away, they're trying it on. This is great. Which reminds me, I just want to announce, if anyone needs gear, please send people our way. We are
so much gear,
and we appreciate so many people are sending us gear or dropping off gear.
But you need people to take gear too.
We need people to take gear. I'm like a little pusher. I'm like, you need some gear? I got some gloves over here.
Hey,
so
buddy,
send people our way because we can't advertise because then people start showing up trying to get stuff to sell on eBay. It's all word of mouth. So if you know somebody who actually needs gear, send them to the Recycle Garage.
Right. And I've got an idea coming up. I think if we figure... Oh, God. Don't do that, Jim. If we figure out the next bike night at Cycle Gear, I will have a word with the manager and see if we can do a used gear exchange at Cycle Gear and basically sell this stuff and trouser the money.
But we can't sell. We give it away for free.
Yeah, well, for a contribution to the cause.
I mean, if they get a cut, maybe they'd be interested. But
no, I don't think Cycle Gear would. But I think having basically... Because we'll figure it out, but we'll get rid of this.
I'm just pretty insistent on making sure this just is free to people because it's
just come get it. Just come get
it. Exactly. So go to motorcyclesandmisfits.com.
Yes,
find the links. You can tell people that you can go there to get our email address, to reach us, see what we look like, what we're up to, and what our awesome T-shirts that both Neil and Wendy are wearing.
They look good.
Are still available.
And we are impossibly beautiful people. So be prepared to be in awe when you see. What say you, Wendy?
It's true. There's a reason that this is not a video podcast, and that is because the rest of the world would shut down while they watch.
The golden aura would just blow out the video.
Correct. Yeah.
It's the truth is because we're not wearing pants ever.
More butt cheeks.
Yes, exactly. All the butt cheeks.
So, and also I want to say big thanks to all of our listeners, especially our Patreon subscribers. You guys are awesome. We had some new subscribers this month. So thank you so much. We appreciate all of you. Thanks for sticking with us. Time to get out of here. This is Liza.
This is Wendy.
Emma, darling.
It's Neil.
Make it Jim, son.
Bagel.
And we are out of here.
Cool.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Motorcycles and Misfits.
Yeah, that's not how we do it.
Nope.
No, that's not how we do it.
We do it.
Shot down again.
Start again.
This is the first. Hey there, everybody.
No, that's not how we do it.
No. There's no ad-libbing here.
Okay.
You've got to stick to the script. It's what people expect from us.
When do you want to try it?
Now she's intimidated.
I know. I was like, I know how you say, welcome to Motorcycles and Misfits, coming to you live from Sunny's.
That's part of it, but no, that's not it.
I got nothing. I don't know. Got performance anxiety.
Bagel, you want to take this?
Hey there. Welcome to Motorcycles and Misfits.
He was doing it perfect and you just spoke over him.
What?
No, he started, hey there.
Yeah, no, you didn't do. You did it wrong.
There was all this everybody in there. This nonsense.
You're like, hey, hi.
Yeah, we don't do the everybody here.
All right, Bagel, do you want to try that again?
Okay. Hey there. Welcome to Motorcycles and Misfits, coming to you from the Recycle Garage.
Oh, blown it.
Sunny Santa Cruz, California.
No.
You came in just in time for Liza to tell us all how we're fucking up.
So now we have
Hey there, welcome to Motorcycles and Misfits. Your aptly named podcast here from hot Santa Cruz, California.
How many different ways can we choke the in?
Both of you, if there was a little group of men who made chocolates called the Feebler Elves, you both would be fucking charter members.
Hey there, welcome to Motorcycles and people who don't have their shit together.